Hey everyone, welcome to the Piney Podcast. I'm Tony D, and this is what's happening in South Jersey. Still, the big news story is the beer virus, and we went down a little bit. We're at about 3,500 cases. You know, these numbers that I cite you, they click up after I cite them, so they're not going to be 100% accurate. If you want to go to the most up-to-date for just New Jersey, you can go to covid.nj.gov, and they have the map and they have the numbers, and so finally a source where the numbers come right up, and usually that's updated before Murphy gives his speech or right before. So that one's been pretty on point. I've also been getting up later and later because I'm back in freelancing mode. So I was getting up early in the morning and with no updates, crawling the internets, and nothing was there. And anyhow, this seems to be the earliest update. I think it updates around noonish. So we're kind of where we've been mostly this last couple of weeks. We're hovering around 3,500, and then there were a few outlier days where we dipped below 3,000 and went up to 4,000 again. But for the most part, I think if you average them out, you'd get about 3,500 a day. New cases, this is. And this is people who test positive. So, again, keep in mind, the testing is going on. There's a testing in Barrington, New Jersey at the Rite Aid. I believe it's today. So if you need to get tested, go. But, for God's sakes, put on all your gear. Because if there's any place you want to make sure you are well protected, it would be at a testing area, regardless of whether or not you got to get out of the car or not. I'm not sure whether or not it says at the Rite Aid, so maybe it's inside, maybe it's outside, I don't know. But it might be outside. They might have the tents in the parking lot or whatever. So if you need to get tested, go. I don't have any problem with people wanting to get tested, even if they feel just a little sick. I've had a few days where I thought, oh man, am I sick? Should I get tested? Today is not one of those days. I had like a stuffy nose for like 2 or 3 days. I have allergies, so it's tough to tell. It's tough to tell until you're like really sick. So I think I'm good. I don't think I'm gonna risk going to get a test that I may or may not need. I'm pretty sure I'm good. I have been taking precautions since January, so I'm feeling pretty good. In other South Jersey news, 5 Catholic schools are going to close. They're not going to recover. They're not going to reopen after the beer virus. Now, these were schools that were kind of on the bubble anyway because they were losing people. They had a severe decreased enrollment. The funds for the Catholic Church have been drying up a bit because of just decreased interest, I think, in religion in general, and because of, naturally, the many, many, many scandals. So I think that's driven a ton of people away from the church, and now they're suffering for it. They're also paying out these huge settlements, and it's draining the coffers in order to make up for it. The Catholic schools are selling off their assets, which includes a ton of land. It's interesting to note, that's a huge asset in the Catholic Church, and that's also a similar asset in the Church of Scientology, which I find very, very interesting, that they both kind of have that in common. Not that I'm saying that the Catholic Church is anywhere near the craziness of Scientology today or the Catholic Church today, but it's just an interesting correlation there. They say the forest fires this year will be, because there was lack of snow, they're lessened. I don't know quite how that works. But I guess because we had a very mild winter, it also wasn't as dry of a winter because a lot of times winters are very dry. Um, and we have been getting a ton of rain recently anyway. It's been pretty damp here in South Jersey for a while, so that's good news. Although we just had a forest fire, so that was a weird announcement. Like right after the 1,500 acres burn, you're going to say, "Hey, we're going to have fewer forest fires." But 1,500 acres for a forest fire around here, it's pretty low. It's pretty contained. So I guess that is an indication. And again, sometimes this is natural because it's just lightning hitting the tree or whatever and starting a fire. Um, so that's about it. I think that was the only other news story that really hit South Jersey. Other than the beer virus just continues. Not much going on with that. The same old news story. The deaths are being touted. Again, think about 2 weeks ago. Think about 2 weeks into the future. Because 2 weeks in the future, one of the reasons they're talking about opening things up now is because 2 weeks from now is where you want to be, mentally. Because 2 weeks from now, the numbers could finally start plummeting to nothing. I think a lot of this testing could be the result of people who just didn't get sick right away for various reasons, or they got quarantined with someone who was sick and then got sick later, or they had to take care of someone who was sick and got sick, or they had to go to the hospital to take someone or visit someone, they got sick there. So, and quite frankly, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that all the numbers have been underreported. There's a ton of other people who have this who don't realize they have it, which is another reason I don't care if people go get tested. I mean, I could have had it already. I could have had it weeks ago and not even have known it. So, again, I don't want to risk it because I'm pretty sure I'm okay. But, it could be that a lot of people are sick and just don't know it, or got sick and just don't know it. So better that they know they had it or have it than not. And, and really most people are going to test negative, and that's going to, bring down the numbers, and people are going to hopefully relax a little bit. I still see a lot of stuff on the internet, people getting hysterical over this. And look, I'm totally with you with, masking up, putting on gloves, taking precautions. But, we have to go back to something. People have to work. Right now, I just got a text from somebody. They said oil dropped to $1.50 a barrel because they ran out of places to store it. This is going to be a huge, huge impact. I'm not sure how it's going to go. It might actually be a positive impact because gas will plummet, and that could mean that, for instance, Amazon offers free shipping if you order $25 worth of stuff. They may offer free shipping for everything at those prices, at those gas prices. Everybody may start to offer free shipping. The cost of shipping may also plummet along with the cost of gas, because that's 90% of the reason why the cost went up. This could cut the cost of a lot of things. However, because there's so many different businesses that are being impacted by the shutdown, like the meatpacking plant, it could mean that although it's super cheap to ship stuff, there's now not enough stuff to ship. Maybe. I don't think that's really a problem in the United States because we already had way too much stuff. I recall, a friend coming down from Canada and just marveling at, like, I said, you have stores in Canada, right? And she was like, yeah, but, we have like 4 kinds of shampoo. You have like 55 kinds of shampoo on the shelf. And that's kind of true, right? So if our choices drop from like 55 to 25, are you really going to notice? Is it? I mean, you might notice that there are some empty shelves, but you're not going to be like, oh no, there's no shampoo. You're just going to be like, oh well, I can't get that, stuff with the apricots I like. I'll have to get the plain stuff. Oh, woe is me. Um, and so hopefully prices will actually start to come down, and because a lot of stuff is, so many things are just shipped in the United States, like everywhere. Um, and that could be a great thing. It could help people who are out of work or are struggling to survive the coming months if everything goes super cheap, especially gas. I mean, I might have to go out and gas up in a few days after it gets under $1. I think I might go gas up my car. I kind of been holding out now, holding out for the price to go even lower. My God. I feel like an idiot for gassing up before all this started. I hadn't thought this far ahead. I hadn't thought like, wow, what are the gas companies going to do if everything shuts down? I actually didn't think, it would shut down this much. I didn't think they would actually shut down everything. I thought I thought businesses on their own would do a lot of shuttering simply because they didn't want the taint of, well, we stayed open and a bunch of our employees got sick and our customers got sick. Like, you wouldn't want that. Where I was working, I was saying to my boss, I think you really ought to close, because I said the last thing you want is some of the guys from the state coming in here and plastering the walls with, this area, this business is contaminated, it's closed until further notice. And then you close the place, and because you're forced to, and you're forced to clean it. And on top of that, Lord knows how long that sign's going to be up before, the state inspectors come and give you a green bill of health. See, that's the way I thought it would work. But fortunately, for my boss, it didn't work out that way, because that would have been a disaster for him in particular. Instead, it's kind of a disaster for everybody. Where I was working, there was a diner right next door, and it was spooky to see it close, because it's an incredibly busy South Jersey diner. I mean, it's open 24/7. It has a sports bar. I mean, it has a lot of stuff, and a lot of people go there. I've never seen the parking lot empty except during this shutdown. So it was a little spooky to see, them shutting down. And I got to wonder how they're going to recover from this. I mean, they've been shut down, I guess, since, all of March, just about all of March. So over a month. And, so they're going to be shut down a month and a half, really 2 months when you think about it. And they're going to open up, and I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to open up, or are they going to open up for takeout? Like, are they going to be able to open their bar? I mean, I would like to go out to eat the moment things open up again, but then again, being a germaphobe, I'm going to be like, well, maybe I'll wait until things are less crowded, because, one of the things I used to do when I treated myself to like sushi or something, I'd go in the middle of the day, like at 2 o'clock, and the place would be empty, and I'd get all kinds of great service because I'd be the only customer there. So I'd probably be up for something like that. But if I showed up at like the height of things where everybody's packed into a restaurant, I'd be like, now I'm like, ugh. So hopefully we're only a couple of weeks away to, I don't know, starting the process of getting back to normal. But because it's getting weird. It's getting weird out there, South Jersey. Anyhow, that's the update. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time, Piney.